The 24-year-old is seen in released surveillance videos. These are the last moments of her life.
Colleen Ritzer. She is the young math teacher who was murdered at Danvers High School last week
by a 14-year-old student.
Testimony is scheduled to resume on Monday morning in the trial of the Massachusetts teen accused of raping and killing his teacher.
And today, jurors got a look at more surveillance video from Danvers High School, along with some gruesome evidence.
Colleen Ritzer is 24 years old. She has fulfilled her dream and works as a teacher at Danvers High School. Since she was young, she's dreamed of helping young people and guiding them on their way to adulthood. Now, she's finally made this dream come true and is happy with her new job. But one day, she doesn't come home after school. Her family can't reach her, and no one knows what happened to the cheerful young woman. Soon after, she's found dead, abused and murdered in an extremely brutal way. What kind of person is capable of such a crime? The school's surveillance cameras provide answers. They show images no one ever thought possible. Images so shocking that they may make you stop believing in the good in people.
I want to share with you who Colleen is, what our lives, those of us who love her, and it will continue to be without her, and remember how much she suffered in the brutality of the attack. Colleen is a person, a loving daughter, sister, granddaughter, niece, cousin, friend, and teacher. Colleen's life mattered to so many people. I want to share with you who Colleen is and will always be to me.
Colleen Ritzer was born in May 1989 as the first child of Peggy and Tom Ritzer. In the years that followed, the couple had two more children, Daniel and Laura. From an early age, Colleen was a very social and polite child. She had a close bond with her family. She always protected her two younger siblings and made sure they were treated fairly. Even as a child, Colleen had a strong sense of right and wrong. She was also an excellent student, and her favorite subject was math from the very beginning. She had a natural talent for recognizing patterns and working with numbers. This quickly led to her biggest dream, becoming a math teacher one day. From a young age, Colleen wanted to help others and teach them new things. If someone at school needed help, she was always there ready to assist. In 2007, Colleen graduated from high school as one of the top students in her class. She then began studying education at Assumption University in Massachusetts. Her studies came easily to her, and she earned an impressive degree. Before starting her teaching career, Colleen also studied psychology to better understand her future students and their struggles. After completing her second degree, she worked as a substitute teacher at a middle school in Stowe in 2011. A year later, she landed a job at Danvers High School. The school, with nearly 1,000 students, is located on the outskirts of Danvers, near the airport. It is considered one of the best high schools in the country and has around 100 teachers. Now, Colleen Ritzer was one of them. At 23 years old, she was thrilled to have this opportunity and dedicated herself fully to preparing and improving her lessons. Because her job took up most of her time, she still lived with her parents, but that didn't bother her. She had a great relationship with her family and shared a deep love for ice hockey with her sister Laura. Colleen never missed one of Laura's games. She sat in the stands, cheering her little sister on. But her biggest passion was always her job. She often tweeted about how much she loved teaching. In her profile, she wrote, "Math teacher, often too excited about the topics I'm teaching." After school, Colleen usually stayed late to tutor struggling students. She worked hard to develop creative methods to make math fun, even for those who disliked it, and she succeeded. Within months, Colleen became one of the most beloved teachers at the school. The principal and her colleagues admired her dedication and inspiring energy. She didn't mind spending late nights at her desk, preparing lessons for the next day. Colleen had made her childhood dream come true. She couldn't have been happier.
Colleen had a smile that lit up her room, an infectious laugh that would instantly make others smile. One of the best adjectives to describe Colleen, both as a child and as an adult, is excitable. It is one of the things I miss the most about her. She believed Danvers to be a safe place to teach and where she could share her love of math. She was very happy teaching there. That was the day evil crossed her path. I will never understand how such evil could exist in this world, or more importantly, how such evil could cross Colleen's path. A path of unwavering love, caring, and kindness.
By now, Colleen has been working at Danvers High School for over a year, and she still enjoys her job as much as on her first day. Her tutoring sessions after school have become well known and are greatly appreciated by the students. Autumn has arrived in Danvers. The first leaves in the forest next to the school are turning orange and yellow. Halloween is approaching, and Colleen is excited for the season. On the afternoon of October 22nd, Colleen holds another tutoring session. The topic is algebra, and only 2 students show up, but she doesn't mind. The school is nearly empty that afternoon. Regular classes ended at 1:45 p.m., and apart from a few colleagues and students attending extracurricular activities, hardly anyone is still there. A hallway security camera records Colleen briefly chatting with her colleague Sarah about their day. Sarah is grading papers in the classroom next door, which is why she's also staying late. That day, Colleen wears her long brown hair down and a simple outfit, a purple top and blue pants. At 2:54 p.m., the same camera captures her walking toward the restrooms after tutoring. She waves cheerfully at someone before disappearing from view. By 4 p.m., Colleen's family starts to worry. The 24-year-old hasn't arrived home and isn't responding to calls or messages. That evening, Colleen's mother calls the school, asking about her daughter. A colleague tells her that Colleen's car is still parked outside. Her father immediately drives to the school and begins searching for her. But no one knows where Colleen could be. Concerned, her family reports her missing. Strangely, just minutes earlier, another mother had reported her son missing. His name is Philip. He is 14 years old and a student at Danvers High School. The police are unsure if the 2 disappearances are connected, but they focus their search on Philip first. He is still a minor, and something could have happened to him. Colleen, on the other hand, is an adult who can decide for herself when to come home. At first, the security footage is not reviewed. Instead, officers search the school grounds, where they find a few drops of blood in one of the bathrooms. At the time, this doesn't seem particularly alarming. Later that evening, investigators discover Colleen's empty wallet in the forest near the school. From that moment, they assume she may also be in danger. They begin searching the woods with tracking dogs but find nothing at first. At 12:30 a.m., police locate the missing Philip on a highway in Topsfield. Concerned citizens had called the authorities after seeing a 14-year-old boy walking alone on the dark, unlit road. When officers ask him what he's doing there, Philip doesn't give a clear answer. He barely speaks at all. When they ask what's in his backpack, he simply replies, "Everything I need to survive." The officers open the bag and are shocked by what they find. Inside are Colleen's credit card, her driver's license, a blood-stained box cutter, and a set of blue-green women's underwear, also covered in blood. When asked whose blood it is, Philip responds, "It's from the girl." At 3 a.m., the police finally find Colleen Ritzer in the wooded area near the school. She is dead. The 24-year-old was beaten in the face multiple times, and investigators discover 16 stab wounds on her body. Her lower clothing has been removed, and she was assaulted with a tree branch. Scattered within a few meters are Colleen's clothes and some personal belongings. 20 meters away, officers find a large dark green trash bin and a pair of bloody gloves. Next to her body lies a note with the words, "I hate you all." Investigators finally review the school's surveillance footage, and they're horrified by what they see. 2 hours later, Philip is brought to the station for questioning about his teacher's death. When asked why he did it, he replies, "When she insulted me, I became her teacher."
I wish I could have helped Colleen, but no one could have helped her that day because no one knew what evil sat in her classroom that day.
Philip Chisholm is a 9th grade student at Danvers High School. He recently moved to Danvers from Tennessee. There, he lives with his mother and 2 younger sisters at his aunt's house. His parents' divorce was the reason for the move. Philip struggles deeply with the separation, and even more with relocating. He had to leave all his friends behind, and is unable to fit in at his new school. According to him, he hates his classmates because they bully him. Every day he talks about wanting to go back to Tennessee. Philip is very withdrawn, rarely participates in class, but still manages to get good grades. On October 22nd, he attends Colleen Ritzer's tutoring session along with another student. That student later describes Philip as different that day. This time, he isn't quiet and distant, he is angry. The reason is an argument he had with Colleen earlier that morning. Colleen had asked him a question about his past in Tennessee, and Philip reacted with shock. She tried to calm him down, but he backed away, muttering to himself and storming out of the classroom visibly upset. To him, his teacher's question had crossed a line. It was personal and insulting. Despite his frustration, Philip still shows up for Colleen's tutoring session that afternoon. She is surprised to see him, but also relieved, thinking he has calmed down. When Colleen briefly leaves the classroom and runs into her colleague Sarah Quinter, she even mentions Philip. She tells Sarah she's surprised that he showed up for tutoring. The conversation is short, and both teachers return to their classrooms. At 2:54 p.m., Colleen walks towards the restrooms. The surveillance footage shows Philip leaving the classroom shortly after, heading in the same direction. The camera captures him pulling up his hoodie and reaching into his bag, where he has hidden a box cutter. Just before entering the restroom, he puts on gloves. Inside the women's bathroom, he ambushes Colleen. He strangles her until she loses consciousness, stabs her 16 times, and then acts out his sick desires on her. At this point, Colleen is unconscious but still alive. 11 minutes after Philip enters the restroom, a female student walks in, intending to use the bathroom. She hears noises coming from one of the stalls and quickly leaves, assuming a couple is having intercourse. Later, she is consumed with guilt, wondering if she could have saved Colleen's life by looking more closely. After being interrupted, Philip hurriedly leaves the restroom, his hands and clothes stained with blood. But he seems to have planned everything. He has a change of clothes with him. He swaps his bloody outfit for fresh clothes. 4 minutes later, he returns to the school. He goes back to the classroom, grabs his backpack and gym bag, and carries them outside. Then moments later, he re-enters, with a large trash bin from outside the entrance. At 3:14 p.m., Philip pushes the trash bin into the restroom and places Colleen's body inside. He then attempts to clean up the crime scene as best as he can before wheeling the bin out of the school, across the parking lot, and toward the wooded area. Despite passing several people in the parking lot, no one stops him or questions what he is doing. And yes, at this point, Colleen is still alive. Philip drags the bin into the woods, where he assaults her with a tree branch before covering her body with debris and leaves. Over the next few hours, Colleen bleeds to death. At 3:58 p.m., Philip returns to the school once more. He has removed his sports jacket, likely because it too is stained with blood. He goes to his locker, retrieves his gym bag, heads to the restroom, and changes clothes again. On his way out, he runs into a classmate. The two briefly chat about an upcoming soccer practice. Philip casually tells them he's on his way to practice, but he doesn't go to practice. Instead, he heads to Wendy's, eats a meal, and then goes to the movies. At the theater, he watches Blue Jasmine, a Woody Allen film. He pays for the ticket with Colleen's credit card. Philip's mother reports him missing in the early evening. Later that night, the police stop him on the highway. During his interrogation at 5 a.m., Philip immediately confesses to the murder. He also tells the police where they can find Colleen's body, unaware that she has already been discovered. As his motive, he cites the conversation with Colleen about Tennessee. However, investigators doubt that this was the real reason. After all, the conversation happened earlier that same day, yet Philip had brought extra clothes, gloves, and a box cutter, suggesting that he had planned the attack in advance. Philip also admits that the female student who walked into the restroom threw him off his plan. He had assumed the school was nearly empty. Since he didn't know if the student had reported anything, he rushed to finish the crime and was unable to clean up as he had originally intended. Following his confession, Philip Chisholm is taken into custody.
teenager accused of killing Danvers High School teacher Colleen Ritzer is competent to stand trial. And with that decision, the judge says jury selection resumes tomorrow.
Hey guys, huge thanks for your amazing support over the past few weeks. We're slowly becoming a community. Feel free to leave a like and subscribe. Thanks for everything. Now, on to the shocking case. In 2015, the trial against Philip Chisholm begins in Salem, Massachusetts, near Danvers. Many of Colleen's loved ones attend the proceedings, most of them wearing pink, her favorite color. Philip is defended by attorney Denise Reagan. She argues that Colleen had already died in the restroom, and that Philip's actions in the woods involved desecrating a corpse rather than murder. She attempts to claim that Philip was acting under extreme psychological distress, triggered by Colleen's question about Tennessee. If successful, this argument could support the claim that Philip experienced a psychotic episode, making him incapable of controlling his actions. Several doctors testify in court, including that Colleen most likely bled to death in the woods. Additionally, Philip had prepared for the attack, bringing a weapon and a change of clothes. This contradicts the idea that he was overcome by a sudden psychotic episode. Further evidence against him emerges when it is revealed that Philip attacked a female prison guard with a sharpened pencil while in custody. Her colleagues heard her screams and intervened just in time. Had they not, Philip might have killed again. This violent incident further weakens his defense. Philip Chisholm is found guilty. For murder, he is sentenced to 25 years in prison. For rape and robbery, he receives 40 years. After serving a total of 40 years, he will be eligible to apply for parole. By then, he will be 66 years old. Due to the severity of the crime, Philip is not sentenced under juvenile law, despite being only 14 years old at the time of the murder. Colleen's mother, Peggy Ritzer, is dissatisfied with the verdict. She believes Philip should never be eligible for parole. The only reason he was given the option was because of his age. Peggy thinks this is not a good enough reason. She believes that someone who commits such a cruel crime should never get a lighter sentence or a second chance to live a normal life. In an interview, she says, "We feel like the state still cares more about the murderer than about the victims and their families. They put the murderer's life above the victim's life. They are basically saying that the victim's life doesn't matter, but their life did matter. Our lives do matter." She hopes that her daughters will go to court if Philip applies for parole in 40 years. Colleen's father adds, "This is wrong. Don't do this to the families. Don't do it. Think about what you're doing to the victims and what they have to go through." Later, Peggy says in another interview, "Her death broke me. Now I isolate myself from the people I love because it's so hard to pretend I'm happy. He is pure evil, and evil can never be rehabilitated." Tom replies, "I didn't protect Colleen. A father's job is to make things right. I would do anything if I could fix this for Colleen." Philip's mother is also in the courtroom when the verdict is announced. Earlier, she had apologized to the family for what her son did and expressed her sympathy. When the verdict is read, she cries quietly. Then she turns to Colleen's family and says, "Words cannot express how painful and sad the last 2.5 years have been, but no one has suffered more than the Ritzer family. My deepest respect, my prayers, and my highest regards are with you today, as you continue your journey of healing." Judge David Lowy concludes the sentencing by saying, "Colleen Ritzer lived a life of quiet heroism. The waves of this tragedy will never fade."
We are devastated and feel betrayed with Judge Lowy's inability to give 3 consecutive life sentences without the eligibility of parole to the individual that took Colleen's life in such a horrific manner. We are disgusted and personally offended with the defense's repulsive recommendation that Colleen's killer be parole eligible within 15 years, therefore putting him back into society at age 29 to kill again. The defense's legal maneuvering is despicable and demonstrates utmost disrespect for our daughter and sister, Colleen's life. Evil cannot be rehabilitated. Although we very much appreciate this court's commitment to seeking justice for Colleen, today's sentence did not achieve that goal. Colleen matters. Colleen's life matters. Colleen is not a victim, body, or the deceased as she has been described throughout this trial. She is not the slain or murdered Danvers High School teacher as always portrayed in the media. Colleen was a caring and loving young woman, full of life and a beloved teacher.
Colleen Ritzer's death is one of the cases that affected me the most during my research. It's hard to imagine that a 14-year-old could commit such a cruel act. Colleen was an inspiring and positive person who had her whole life ahead of her. Philip Chisholm took that away from her. What do you think about today's case? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. If you liked the video, please leave a like, a comment, and/or subscribe. Also, turn on the notification bell. It really helps the channel a lot. More interaction after the video is uploaded helps YouTube recommend it to new viewers. Here, you can find the terrifying case of Sydney Loof, who was kidnapped and murdered by a Tinder cult. The story behind the murder is simply unbelievable. Click on it. Until then, stay safe.